The good girl paradox. Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, why didn't I just say what I really felt? Or agreed to something that drained you, then you felt resentful after? For years and years, I believed that being good was the path to success, love, and peace. Being agreeable, don't be difficult, don't be too much, don't upset anyone, be polite. What if the very trait that you were praised for is the one quietly shrinking your life? Today's conversation is about the good girl paradox and how being overly nice might be disconnecting you with your authentic power. Welcome to the Infinite Carousel. My name is Promise, and here we talk about real growth, the messy, the beautiful, the imperfect kind. The good girl paradox. Let's start with the conditioning because it starts with conditioning. Most of us weren't born people pleasers, we were trained. We were rewarded for being quiet, for being helpful, emotionally accommodating. But here's the problem: when your value becomes tied to being agreeable, you start performing instead of expressing. You don't ask, what do I want? You keep asking, what will make everyone comfortable? That shift is so subtle, but it's life changing. The cost of being too nice. Niceness at its core is not bad. Kindness is powerful, compassion is powerful, but compelled niceness, that's fear. It's fear in disguise. And it looks like apologizing for having needs, saying yes when you actually mean no, avoiding conflict at the expense of truth, over explaining yourself to avoid being misinterpreted, shrinking your opinions so you don't intimidate anyone, and slowly something dangerous happens. You disconnect from your anger, you disconnect from your ambition, you disconnect from your intuition. Because being good becomes more important than being real. And over time, it creates resentment, emotional exhaustion, or maybe even burnout. And you become invisible. The power you are giving away. When you prioritize being liked over being aligned, you hand over your authority. You wait for permission. You hesitate before speaking. You dilute your ideas. You consistently play small, not because you lack brilliance, but because you fear the cost of taking up space. But the truth is, authentic power requires the willingness to disappoint people. Authenticity requires the willingness to disappoint people. You cannot live a bold and expansive life and remain universally agreeable. At some point, your growth will feel threatening to others. It will be uncomfortable to someone else. And if your identity is built on being the nice one, you will sabotage yourself to avoid the tension. Now let's talk about the fear beneath the niceness. The good girl pattern is rarely about kindness. It's about safety. If I'm nice, I won't be rejected. If I'm easygoing, I won't be abandoned. If I don't challenge anyone, I'll be loved. But love that requires self-erasure isn't love, it's compliance. And the longer you abandon yourself to maintain connection, the harder it becomes to even know who you are. This is why so many high-achieving women, well put together women, feel empty and unseen. because they have mastered approval but lost authenticity. How do we reclaim our authenticity? Breaking free doesn't mean becoming cruel. It means becoming congruent. It could look like saying no without a long paragraph justifying why you said no. Being comfortable in silence after you have stated your boundary. Allowing someone to misunderstand you and not rushing to fix it. Expressing disagreement calmly and clearly. Choosing respect over approval. And most importantly, separating kindness from self-sacrifice. You can be warm but firm, loving and powerful, compassionate and direct. They are not opposites. The most grounded people aren't the nicest in the room. They are the most honest. The identity shift. You were never meant to be the good girl. You were meant to be a whole woman. And whole means you have softness and steel, grace and fire, empathy and boundaries. When you integrate both, something powerful shifts. You stop performing goodness and you start embodying truth. And truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is magnetic. If you've built your identity around being the nice one, this type of inner work can feel terrifying because who are you without that label? But I want you to consider something. What dreams have you postponed to avoid being seen as difficult? What opportunities have you declined to avoid standing out? What parts of your personality have you muted to stay acceptable? Your life expands in direct proportion to your willingness to disappoint people who benefit from you staying small. Niceness isn't the problem here. Self-abandonment is. And the moment you choose authenticity over approval, you don't become less lovable. You become undeniable. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.